Because breaking news, folks, Donald Trump, his insurance lawyer, former insurance lawyer, Lindsey Halligan, who, of course, is now the U.S. Attorney for the District in Virginia, has indicted New York Attorney General Letitia James. And this indictment, of course, comes after the previous attorney in that office, Seifert, I should say, refused to do it. Said, we don't have evidence. There's nothing here. I can't indict. I can't indict Letitia James. I can't indict James Comey. All these things you want me to do, I can't do because there's no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing. So he leaves. Trump replaces him with his former, again, insurance lawyer that has 0 days of prosecutorial experience. And she is now indicted, Letitia James, and of course, James Comey. And the funniest part is the Comey indictment, as most people know if you've been paying attention to the news, is already falling apart. So her first one, again, the first case she's ever prosecuted, not going well. And I imagine that this indictment of Letitia James on, bank fraud is probably going to go the same way. There's nothing to it. The previous guy, again, said, hey, don't have any evidence. Can't do this. Ethically, legally, can't do it. But Lindsey Halligan was picked to specifically do these things, and she's doing it. This is retribution. As I'm sure everybody's aware, Letitia James is the one who brought the charges against Donald Trump, got him those 34 felony convictions, and this is his payback. We're going to try to take her down because she pissed me off. She made me look bad by exposing my criminal behavior. So let me go ahead and, kind of go through this. This is from CNN. New York Attorney General Letitia James was indicted Thursday in Alexandria, Virginia, as President Donald Trump's Justice Department continues to pursue charges against his political opponents. James has been under investigation since May over a 2023 mortgage she took out to help her niece buy a home in Norfolk, Virginia. The charges come as Trump continues to call for his enemies to be prosecuted in court. Former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. James's relationship with Trump has been adversarial for years as James campaigned on promises to investigate Trump and ultimately won a civil fraud case against Trump, his adult sons, and his real estate business. A judge found them liable for fraud for inflating the value of their properties and ordered Trump to pay $355 million in penalties. Trump has appealed. This is absolutely ridiculous. And what gets me about it is like, look, if any of these people, if James Comey actually broke the law, if Letitia James broke the law, fantastic. Go after them. Let's do this. I have no problem with holding people accountable, regardless of what political party they happen to be a part of. What I do have a problem with, and this is where it's put me in the weird position of having to defend James Comey, and of course having to defend, the other individuals that are definitely on the right. But this is a political persecution. Letitia James, James Comey, John Bolton is another one. All of these people have been targeted not because we think they've done a ton of stuff wrong. It is, it's a witch hunt. It's what Trump always claimed happened to him, but this time it's really a witch hunt. You guys are scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to figure out something to take these people down for. So the thing is, none of these prosecutions are going to go anywhere. And the reason they're not going to go anywhere is because of Donald Trump's post on Truth Social. All of these people, when they start to get into pretrial motions, beyond the pleading, is that they're going to show that post on Truth Social that we now know Trump meant to send as a private message to Bondi, but instead posted it for the world to see. They're going to go into the pretrial motions, and the first thing they're going to do is have that thing printed out. They're going to hand it to the judge and be like, listen, it's obvious this is a political persecution. I'm targeted not because I did something wrong, but because of Donald Trump hates me, and I move to have these charges dismissed. So that's, and trust me, I'm not a lawyer, of course, but I do have over 21 years of experience in the legal profession, working with the top lawyers in the country, being the editor of Trial Lawyer Magazine. I know this stuff. I've seen this stuff. So again, I may not have courtroom experience, but I have actual experience with this. So yeah, it's pretty much a stupid thing. And I think as somebody had kind of pointed out in the comments there just a moment ago, Trump's making martyrs of these people. Now you're going to get this groundswell of support for Letitia James, who I think should have a groundswell of support, but you're going to have a groundswell of support for Comey and Bolton, like these ghouls who, again, I have no love for whatsoever. And now you're going to have people like me having to defend him, and it's a pretty crappy situation, I will say, but it's also terrifying for the rule of law here in the United States. This is not something that a normal, well-functioning country does, and we're here. We're doing this now. And Lindsey Halligan, again, 0 days of prosecutorial experience. Her prosecution against Comey is already not going well. And she was the insurance lawyer, which great. We need insurance lawyers. But again, I'll speak on my years of experience in the legal profession. Lawyers, trust me, they have their niche. Okay. I am a lawyer that only handles workers' comp cases. And if you try to give me an auto accident case, I can't do it. They really can't. I mean, trust me, after working again with the best lawyers in the country, you pull them off the thing they do, they can't do it. I'm a product liability lawyer. Put them in a car accident case, they can't do it. Put them in a workers' comp case. So this insurance lawyer has training, several years of it. She's not that old, but nothing on the prosecutorial side, which is an entirely different area of law. So even if these people did commit these horrendous crimes like they're claiming, she's not good enough to even get a conviction. I mean, forget for a second that this is clearly politically motivated. Even if she had him on a hard crime, she's so incompetent and not trained for this, she's not going to win. You want another example of why we know this is what's going to happen? Do you remember the name Alina Habba? Anybody? Right? The former parking garage lawyer who lost every case she handled for Donald Trump because it was not her expertise. Yeah, that's a thing. That's what I'm talking about. So this is all just another Alina Habba situation. This time it happens to be Lindsey Halligan. And even if they had these people, like, even if it were like, hey, we found evidence, there's bodies literally buried in their backyard, she's so incompetent that it's not going to happen. So on the one hand, obviously, it's friggin' hilarious, like genuinely very funny to watch this inexperienced, incompetent person attempt to do this when it's so obvious that Trump gave the marching orders and then this happened. But on the other hand, it is absolutely terrifying that we have now hit this point in the country. This is I don't know if it's a point of no return or not. Hey, thank you. By the way, Zeusmo sent 5 fair and balanced gift memberships. So thank you for that. That is awesome for everybody. But this is a terrifying turning point in American history where you can be targeted, by the federal government at the whim of the president of the United States just because you pissed him off years ago. Terrifying time to be an American citizen, terrifying time to, trying to, sorry, something just fell and broke somewhere out in my house. So that really just kind of threw me off. But anyway, bad omen of things to come. But here's the thing. I think, thank you, Zeusmo, again, for a $10 super chat. I will read your question in just a moment. But at this point, I think MAGA are the folks that need to realize, even, more moderate conservatives that aren't MAGA, they will run out of us. to go after. I mean, they're already going after John Bolton and James Comey, two Republicans. So when they run out of us, y'all are next. So if you're out there celebrating this, like, oh, ha, ha, Trump's getting all the bad guys, it's going to come for you one day. And that day is going to be sooner rather than later. So Zeusmo's question here again, thank you for the super chat, says, how many more enemy indictments will we see before Trump leaves office? As many as humanly possible. Everybody on the list. I mean, at least as a start this year, maybe even just this month, everybody that was on that list. So next up, I think, is what? Adam Schiff. So we will see. If we see in the next week or two an indictment of Adam Schiff, what that actually does is give these other defendants, which now includes James and Comey, just absolute clearance to pull up that thing in court and say, look, they're ticking off the list here. Do you need any more evidence that this is a politically motivated prosecution? Dismiss my case. And they probably will. I mean, I find it real hard to imagine, especially given the pushback that Trump is now getting from his own judges. I find it hard to imagine that that's not how this is going to end. It's going to be a humiliation for this administration. And when they get humiliated, when they get backed into a corner, when they get sad and their feelings get hurt, they become more dangerous. So, they're the other side of that. Melissa Lawson says Adam Schiff is next, apparently. Cookie Fatty 666 says, then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Yeah, it is the first they came poem. That's really the situation we're at. And if you think we're not going down that list, you have not been paying attention. You can only be tried once for the same offense, says Robert Manella. Yes, unless, there's a lot of caveats to that, actually. It's not necessarily true that you cannot be tried for the same offense twice. You cannot be tried for the same offense twice under the exact same circumstances. If new evidence emerges, they can absolutely, bring new charges or retry you based on new evidence. So there are a lot of caveats to that. And I think obviously over the years, it's been misconstrued a little bit. So what else? Happy says, I hope it's before they're bankrupt. And that is one of the things that the right has been talking about for a very long time. This lawfare, as they call it, is not necessarily even meant to put people behind bars. It's meant to ruin their lives financially, ruin their lives, socially, politically, whatever it is. May not end in a jail sentence, but hey, if we could send them to the poorhouse, if we can rough up their reputation enough to where they can't even go to, as what's his name? The Epstein lawyer, I forget, Dershowitz says, I can't even go to Martha's Vineyard and go to the farmer's market. That's the kind of reputational damage they're wanting to do to these people. And I do want to call out a comment here. It's, where did it go? Somebody said, America Unchained, I think it was, you can only get TDS once. That, of course, is referring to Trump derangement syndrome, which actually is something that millions of people in this country suffer from. It's where they think that Donald Trump is somehow a smart leader, a good leader, an intelligent person, a good business person. Whenever you see somebody talking about those things and, possibly even wearing a MAGA hat, which is a visible symptom of Trump derangement syndrome, just know that this person is mentally ill. They are very unwell. They think that Donald Trump is actually looking out for them and doing good things to the country, even though a vast majority of Americans disapprove of every single thing he does. So just make sure you understand when you see these Trump supporters that are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, treat them with kindness because they're very confused, very lost individuals who do not know their ass from a hole in the ground. So be easy with them. Use small words. They don't know big words. They know small ones. So just treat them as such. So thank you for bringing up the Trump derangement syndrome, because I do want to address that very, very unfortunate mental illness that so many in the MAGA wing of the party seem to be suffering from. So thank you for that. Hermit Horologist says, sorry, off topic. Do you know about YouTube channels using your video? Yes. Okay. Thank God. For weeks now, and I appreciate everybody that's reached out for it, but let me go ahead and tell you this. For weeks now, there's been a lot of little copycat channels popping up, taking my videos, but cutting me out, putting me in weird AI things, and just reusing my content, gaining subscribers, making money off it. And I'm getting hundreds of emails, text messages, direct messages, and comments on videos every single day about it. We know. And I thank you all again, everybody that's reached out about it. You do not need to tell us. We get it. I got it. YouTube refuses to do anything about it thus far. We do have a new YouTube rep who is supposed to be working with them, and so far they have not been able to get them taken down. We have, however, hired a lawyer. So, for all of those channels, if you want to steal this content, please know that we are in the process of working on suing the hell out of you. So, that's your warning. That's what's going to happen. But yes, folks, we are fully aware of these copycat channels. And it's not just me. They've been showing up of like Ron Filipkowski, Brian Tyler Cohen, David Packman, a lot of people. And it seems to be, based on what we can tell, is almost this little factory of it, a factory of like 5 or 6 people in Vietnam that are doing this. So they're producing it overseas and they're passing it off as their own. And anytime they get in trouble, like we always try to flag every video and report every video, they'll just pop up with a new channel with some kind of clever title. And some of the channel titles actually pretty good. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good. But yeah, folks, I thank you for tuning into this. Again, this is kind of impromptu. I had just got done cutting the grass, so. But listen, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. We are well on our way to 1 million subscribers, and I would very much love to hit that, not just before the end of the year. Let's hit it before Christmas. So spread the word, tell your friends and family. If you're not following me across social media, do that as well at Farron Balanced. Go to any social media platform and type in at Farron Balanced. You're going to find me. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, of course. I still have the one with Twitter, although I have not been active on Twitter for roughly a year. And I encourage everybody, leave Twitter. Go to Blue Sky. Twitter sucks. I don't care if I got a big following on Twitter. I've got my clout over there. No. And then this is almost directed more at, the bigger people in the left sphere. Get off Twitter. Like, I know you don't want to lose that following and lose your clout, but you're losing my respect by staying on that platform. So I think everybody should start telling these people to get the hell off Twitter. Anyway, again, thank you all so much. Crazy crap happening across this administration. So again, everybody subscribe if you're not already doing so. Thank you so much. And until tomorrow, bye.